Up on our agenda is approval of the minutes of August 26th. Peter, Augusta, Tom, and myself were there. Lynn was there for two also, but
Peter's listed as present and absent. I don't know if that matters.
aha! You there on the 26th?
Oh, I missed 2 meetings.
I think that was one.
That might have been one of them, okay.
26, yeah.
Okay, so the first correction was take Peter out of the mix, out of the present, and
He's on there twice, that's why.
yeah, he was very popular. He was there and not there.
You don't want to do that, sure.
Well, Lynn was there.
Part of it. That's good.
I don't know how we do halves and halves, when they come in. You want to hold those in abeyance then? If you're comfortable?
I can vote if you need a quorum.
Yeah, we need four. And so I'll make a motion for approval of the August 26, 2013 minutes. Is there a second? Thank you, Lynn. Any further discussion? Except for that modification, all those in favor? Aye. Okay. The ninth, we have Tom, Augusta, and Tim, and Lynn. So, I can't. You want to? It's your meeting.
Okay. So, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
How
Surprisingly,
exciting.
I'm through them both. Okay, next up on our agenda is public comment. If anybody has anything to raise at the meeting. Let's see, we look like applicants, so probably not. You have no public hearings tonight. So the first up for application reviews is Dunkin' Donut. Come on up and tell us what you're doing.
Good evening. I'm Jeff Schiller from Schiller Engineering. With me is Mario Sardina, the owner of the project. We're here tonight with our proposal. Every 10 or so years, Dunkin' Donuts corporate requires that the stores remodel in order to stay consistent with the brand image, so on and so forth. This store, the functionality of this store, I guess, got evaluated, and all of new Dunkin' Donuts stores require a walk-in cooler. The owner with the architect, Jim Smith, did the best they could in order to try and configure within the existing footprint in order to try and fit that cooler within the footprint in order to avoid the step of having to go to the planning board, but it just physically, couldn't work with what the constraints were. So we're here before you to present our plan, which is essentially the exact same footprint as what's out there today, with the exception of the 8x18 walk-in cooler, which is on the
Sticking
western,
out the side, yeah.
which is on the western side of the building.
So you didn't have a walk-in before?
We have reach-in coolers right now.
Okay.
There's a,
So do you even, I'm just curious because I'm in the food world.
Yeah.
What do you even need it for? They're just making you have it. This is just curiosity, I'm sorry.
So walk-in cooler requires, with the dairy products, so we get 2 deliveries a week. All the creams, especially with the espresso beverages that we're getting into, requires more refrigeration space. And all the sandwiches will continue to increase, and sales requires thawing of the product and prepping and within the 3-day shelf life. So we have a lot of restraints there. We supply some of it from our other location in Highland that has a walk-in freezer and cooler. So we're trying to make it so that we don't have to carry it from location to location, become self-sufficient. So the freezer that's there now is rather small. It makes it very difficult. A lot of the products we have for the freezer, for example, bagels and such, and and muffins, it's called, it's a freezer to oven product. So they come frozen, we thaw, we bake it in the oven. The donuts come already finished from our kitchen, but the muffins and bagels are made on site. And so the freezer space that we have limits our ability to have more products, so it makes it difficult to operate. So to be able to expand and have a larger allows for easier operations. So.
And then just two other things I'd like to mention. I guess the plant, there's an if you have ever, if you've been there, I'd encourage you to go to just check out some of these details that I'll try and explain to you, and it's probably good to put an eye on it. There's an existing low planter that's right in front of the vestibule, and it kind of restricts access to these parking spaces and just kind of the general flow to get into the building. This proposal is to remove that planter and then add landscaping around the entire corner of the building to improve, the overall look of the building. And then, another, I guess, item that needs to be, mentioned is this sidewalk is actually back pitched, which creates a, dangerous condition during the winter. So that would all be replaced as well as part of this proposal with an entirely new sidewalk, obviously, a landscaping feature, and then, as well as that walk-in cooler. The walk-in cooler would also be protected by, bollards. In doing that bump out on the side, we do need to bump the parking out on the side. I think it winds up being roughly 8 feet. What we tried to do is really try and keep a comfortable, match
Turning lane,
basic,
if you
access, because obviously, as you know, a lot of folks do come out and get to the signalized intersection to,
Make the left, yeah.
right, make the left. So we tried to keep it real comfortable, but that, requires, basically an 8-foot bump out on that side.
We got, he's got it. We got enough distance there to the side? Or,
There's, looks like plenty. I mean,
Okay.
there's 20, 28 there to the parking stall. Those parking stalls are 18 foot, 19 is shown.
Yeah, I tried to kind of mimic what was out there because I think, it's a real comfortable kind of layout. So rather than go for the minimum, I tried to kind of mimic what was out there.
And is there a possibility to put it in the side or the back as opposed to into the parking lot?
I think our first preference was to put it in the back, but then that would necessitate, going through the ZBA process because it would be within the rear yard setback. We did look hard at that, and that was, I think, the original preferred alternative, but,
Especially between the building and the dumpster pad that's there now, there's space to do it. But it
Yeah.
requires zoning variance.
so,
Be in the ZBA process anyway, because front yard parking,
because of what?
front yard parking, what you're doing, parking in the front yard.
Corner lot with 2 front yards.
So it would get brought to the ZBA for what purpose? Because it's,
You're extending the parking more into the front yard on Cherry Hill Road.
so that would require ZBA approval?
You're not allowed to park in the front yard.
corner lots have 2 front yards.
Even though it's existing to have parking?
Well,
in the
you're
front yard?
extending it.
The existing
So it's-
though fits right now. This front yard on Cherry Hill is only 35 feet, not 65. But you're going to be extending into that by 8 feet or so.
Okay, you're saying the existing, from the property line into the parking is now getting
35 feet.
reduced by 8 feet, so that requires us to go to the ZBA?
Right. You're parking in the front yard, so you'll be
Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
If you are going to the ZBA, would you rather go for putting it in the back?
Right.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we'd like to get your input if you guys, you know, essentially
Seems
think that would be preferable. And if we could get like maybe a favorable recommendation, I think we'd be more than happy to revise the plan accordingly, if that's kind of the consensus.
I definitely like that idea because this plan requires a larger parking lot. I think it would be preferable to keep the parking lot as is and maintain some of the green space that you have with your picnic table and your trees.
Okay, that's good news.
There's one thing that I need from you, though. That, I won't go back into the history because it even predates me, but there's a requirement of an easement that we've been trying to get from the owner of the property for, I forget how many years.
Stop and shop.
You want to, yeah.
We need an easement for a guidewise, so they can move the pole out there and finish the right turn lane. Right now, it's a real public safety issue. We've been trying to get in touch with the former owner, I guess. I'm going to the now for 2011. Correct.
Are you the property owner? or
No,
you
just the
have-
franchise.
Yeah, that's where we're running into this thing, because we'll need an agreement from the property owner to make the changes, so that you're going to act as his agent
Yeah.
for this property. And then we'll need an easement. That's basically all we've been going after.
Okay. Yeah, we can get, Mario, I think, can get in touch with the owner and.
We'll
I guess
try,
present
yeah.
that.
We lease it from Duncan Brands Corporate, and they in turn have a sublease with us. So we did receive this, we did attempt several times to contact the owner, which was a bank at one time, I believe, or something. And it's been very difficult, so I will continue to
Well,
try.
again,
Yeah,
we have a number of times when there's, like you, at least the site on top of the property, we have to deal with the property owner. So
Sure.
there's bills and things of that sort. So we need something from the property owner that says he's in agreement to what you're doing to his property, okay? And can act as his agent. While you're getting that, we got to get this easement on the map also.
Okay.
And I think from our perspective, and you can hear from the board, if you put the cooler in the back, what changes would you still have to do on the front? Just off the top of your head. You don't have to get, if you miss one, don't worry. Just
I think the sidewalk was the
Sidewalk,
biggest
yeah.
issue.
sidewalk, we
Yeah.
still do. The
Yeah,
planter
yeah.
in front
Yes,
would remove. The landscaping would
Yeah.
continue to go in.
yeah.
I think, and you wouldn't have to pave that another
Right.
8 feet.
Yep, that would be good.
So I think,
Yeah.
Okay.
And you guys are doing the sidewalk and the additional landscaping just at your own accord? That's not a franchise requirement?
Correct, yeah.
Seems good.
all right.
You're also putting up some monument signs. You don't have any monument signs now, do you?
Oh, yeah.
There is a freestanding sign, and I guess the proposal would be to install a monument sign, similar to this.
You inquired of the building inspector if that would conform? Because there is the sign law, which is not too recent, but not too old.
I could definitely can do that. I know I went through the square footage of the code, and I think this meets that, but if there's other criteria.
The lighting and everything.
Okay.
I think there's some difference too between the elevation drawing there that has the wall sign on the front. And something that's shown in the drawing that doesn't have the cup on top.
Oh, from the Jim Smith's plans.
Yeah.
Okay, the architect. Okay.
Check with, I would say look at the sign law, but I'd rather say check with Stacy because she does no sign. She
Okay.
noticed that photo on the other sign there was not Michel's sign. That one was not. She's got good eyes. She caught the buffet sign.
Yeah, it's called existing, but you're right. It's from another site, but it would be, essentially, what they'd look to do here. So, okay.
speak with Stacy, and she can certainly.
Okay, talk to Stacy. Okay.
So, two things you could do tonight to facilitate it. One is consider whether you want to do a coordinated review. Because now the ZBA would be involved. And you could do the secret portion of it. And the second would be to consider whether you want to make a referral subject to some modifications to the ZBA.
Well, truth of the matter is, I don't know if we'd make county in October 2nd anyway. October 3rd.
I meant for the ZBA though.
Oh, for the ZBA, yeah. We can
Why would I have to go to county?
site plan on a state road,
Okay.
so. All right, why don't we,
Oh, do you
why don't, yeah, we're gonna,
you guys have a bike rack? Can't see on the plan.
We don't, but we could.
I think you have more than 10 spaces. So,
check the
Bike
code,
rack.
we need a bike rack.
Bike rack,
Good
okay.
point. We notify ourselves as lead agency, is that 30 days we get, or just,
You would just could adopt a resolution indicating your intent to become lead agency, circulate those 30 days, you would be the lead agency.
no, it's only with the ZBA right now? Well, they gotta go, DOT.
It's the only application besides,
Okay,
it's the only
All right.
agency beside us.
ZBA, if they need anything from the DOT.
Oh.
Well, you're showing the easement will be accepted by the town, so the town will, that should not be a problem.
In the county, of course.
Okay.
The easement doesn't conflict with anything that you're doing there, and it's outside of those improvements, 115 square feet total. And it's a guy
This
wire.
way. 150, I don't think so. Support oriented. I think it's over in this area.
okay.
The town
Oh,
really
you're right.
needs this easement so they can complete the job, and that safety issue will then be resolved. It's important.
Okay. You said it's the 115 square foot, right? Yeah, there's two easements shown on here. So, okay, you're talking the 115.
10-foot wide easement, 115 square foot total.
Okay. I see it right now. Yeah, it's back there.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to have the Town of Newport Planning Board acting as lead agency for review of the Dunkin' Donut proposed site plan changes. And do we want to make a recommendation to the ZBA? I think
Yeah.
the consensus I'm hearing, I just
Yeah.
put it in words now, is that we think from a visual point of view, having the cooler in the back makes more sense because, A, it's out of the way and there's room back there to put it. It reduces the need to do additional paving and parking and impervious surface on the site. And really, the structure is more convenient. That's the way the Dunkin' Donut wants to lay out the
Right.
facility. So you won't have to do an oddball thing to get it in there. So I think from the developer's point of view, from our point of view, it's the right way to go. Did I miss anything? Anybody want to add to that? So we'll send off a recommendation to the ZBA. For that, we'll circulate the notice. You got the note on the, yeah, on the bike rack. I think the board's comfortable with the landscaping that you're doing in front of the building, and removal of the planter, because I know if you park there, which way to get out and get in there, so I know
You
that's
need
all.
more information on the lighting too. If you can get us catalog cuts on the lights that you're using, you've got some, looks like wall packs on the building.
Okay.
One thing, when it does go to county, they they want to know what the lighting is in the parking lot. So we've been sending them up full guts and information to that effect.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, so we'll get the plan revised, and then are we back to you, or can we go to the ZBA first, or simultaneous, or?
They will wait till we do a seeker determination,
Okay,
because they'll use us as the environmental review, so
so back to you, back to this board.
it'll probably be back to us. I'm not sure.
I'm trying to remember whether they do a public hearing on first appearance or second. Certainly it'd be worthwhile to have them make an appearance with a recommendation.
October 12th. No, am I going to screw up the dates on what? She's looking at me, I'm going to get yelled at. Wait a minute now. We meet the 16th, that's Wednesday,
Right.
so it's October 15th would be the ZBA. Be
No, I think they meet the week before,
Maybe the week before,
that Tuesday before, I don't know what the date is.
15 minus
Hard to
7
decide
is
because of the
is the 8th?
first Monday thing, being a holiday.
Okay. October 8th,
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
we'll meet, we'll send the recommendation to them. You can tell them what you're doing and why we're proposing that you go into the backyard with the cooler. I think there's positives all around
Okay,
on it. And then I'll set up a hearing date in November for it. We'll be able to meet on the, we can go back on the 16th, I'll get the right date, 16th. Look at the new plans, go through the environmental assessment form, turn around, and then send it up to county. They meet the first Wednesday of the month. You don't have to attend, we just will package it and send it up. But if you could get those bike racks, lighting info, type things,
Meet with the building inspector.
and meet with the building inspector on the signs.
on the signage.
all right,
You should be in good shape on that.
okay.
When you develop the site plan, can you show a little more clearly what's existing and what's being proposed as far as sidewalks, what you're going to be taking out, and what you're going to be replacing?
Sure.
Helpful.
Okay.
And like I
Okay.
said, the challenge is, we'll get us the easement. You can sign, I don't care. When we give you, we just basically take notes, just like you did, and all we're doing is just giving you a copy of the notes.
Okay.
We'll give you the one you can't read. That's not too bad.
Copy and send that to you. All right,
All right?
thank you very much.
I think, yeah, it looks good, I think. And if you can help us get that easement, God, appreciate it. So, you keep going, you know, like you said, it's sublease, and you're going back to, and tell them the fact that you do need a letter from the owner saying that you can act as agent for this modification.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're not the property owner and you're making modifications. We can't really grant you that unless the owner says, yeah, that's fine. Okay?
Very good.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, moving right along, Black Creek. Tell us tell us the background.
I'm just doing a lot line revision between those two houses, only because there's a basement door in one house over here, and it's only like 20 feet off the property line. And that only became because I have to spin all the houses. The lots are very tight because they weren't designed for putting solar houses, like net zero energy building.
Yep.
And so I have to spin the buildings face south. And it was a pre-existing subdivision, and most engineers don't take into account that.
The orientation of, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then it's just At first, I showed it to Stacy. At first, she was like, "Oh, what the heck? That's weird." But I mean, just to figure in the future, you probably won't get issues with people encroaching on properties. And so that's the only reason that lot was like 11 acres at the time. So.
Interesting lot.
But this is all useless land back there anyway.
Oh, no.
No, I mean, as far as the homeowners are concerned.
Right. Do we want to see anything else on this map, or?
Yeah, I'm surprised that the building locations to the property line aren't shown. That's something that Bill always does.
What do you mean?
Corner of the structures to the property line, closest property line.
How close?
Oh, they're 20 feet. They're 21 feet. They're close.
He needs to dimension it, though. That's a surveyor standard that needs to be kept.
All right.
Show that.
Because he's applying Stacy with all as-built maps. Because this was in the top with Stacy. So she's going to get as-built maps. The only thing was he just wanted to point out is this little switch here.
Please go to the county office, it will be in the record copy.
This gets filed, and he's following the New York State professional surveyor's criteria, so he really needs to put those on, those dimensions on. Buildings need to be located.
So you want to tell Billy he's slacking?
What's that?
You want to tell Billy he's slacking?
Okay. I can do that.
I would tell him it came from you.
I can guess that he probably did that and the layer wasn't turned on when he printed it, because it's pretty standard stuff.
Well, yeah, because I know they went out there and shot everything.
Yeah.
So they shot it for Stacy. So that's the only thing you want? You want exact wording?
It's the dimensions from the building to the property line. The closest corner of the building to the property line on each building.
On each building shown, right?
Yeah. Garage and house, both.
You'll probably know, are there any wetlands or?
There are wetlands on this.
I remember
Oh, on here. Yes. This is conservation. Okay.
yeah.
I plotted the building envelopes, everything looks like it fits. The one was really tight, by the way.
They're all tight. 'Cause-
They're all tight.
Wow.
Yeah.
You did it. Congratulations.
They all have to be surveyed in there. So, yeah. No, it's just because they don't design the lots for it. I mean, if I had it from the beginning, I would have made it all different.
Me too.
Hindsight's wonderful.
We need written waivers on their subdivision standards that, like topo, for example, is required, but we don't require it here because it's not changing anything. It's already built. But we need that written, all of the things that you are supposed to do in the subdivision for a map that you're not going to do. You could just write that down, present that to the board, and the board will.
Wait, what do you mean?
121.
Request for waivers.
What waivers?
Request for certain waivers that are normally required. You don't need this.
They're required unless they're waived. It's 121.17B1, it's one list of them. There are also requirements for the plans, to show on the plans.
Man, now I'm upset Barry's wife had a birthday today. He was going to be here, and he knows what all the stuff is. You guys got me all. He said, oh, it's going to be slim dunk, don't worry about it.
Yeah, they always tell you that when they're not going to be here.
Yeah.
All right, so written waivers. So the dimensions for the buildings for a garage and house, written waivers.
A request for waivers.
Request for waivers, 12117.
Just an example, one of the requirements is topo. We don't need topo, so you just have to ask for it.
Ask for a waiver for topo.
That's it.
12117 is the book. If I say that number to Barry, he knows what I'm talking about.
2117B1, is it?
B1.
Yep,
So if I say that, Barry knows what I'm talking about.
yep.
You can find it pretty quick.
Okay. All right. And so what I do?
Come back.
Could we grant approval pending those?
Heck no, we can have a public hearing.
Oh.
Oh, there has to be a public hearing?
Yeah.
Oh. Huh.
It's a subdivision, modification of subdivision, so I would,
Can we get a public hearing scheduled? and
no,
bring
that's
this
what we,
stuff back?
yeah. You should be able to make those changes. We should be able to get a public hearing scheduled for October 16th.
Barry does everything
Barry
he's
talks to
supposed do.
Kelly and you guys figure out what to do.
But if Barry takes care of these three things, and the public hearing, pretty much you could have it approved.
We'll have the public hearing, we'll see where we go from there.
But if everything goes good, could it be approved on the 16th? Well, just could.
I don't know.
be. I mean,
Could be.
hypothetically. If Barry doesn't forget something.
If Barry gets it. Right, Kelly?
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
wait a minute. Distance of the building, property lines, waivers, and topos, 121-17. You wrote them down just in the middle. Okay, so mark up the map so we have them ready for the public hearing.
Okay.
And with the requests that we're looking for, and follow the procedures on a public hearing, and we'll schedule that for October 6th, 15th, 16th, 16th, and
Somewhere thereabouts.
whatever that Wednesday is.
All right. And
Okay.
Barry gets in touch with you for that all? All right. Okey dokey. You don't have to mail me anything, do you? Just a lot on the side? All right, good. I don't need $10. All right, so that's all good. Thanks.
Okay?
Have a good night.
Okay, that's done, that's done. That's done. I wasn't far out. Dave, you want to give me an update on where we are on the FEIS?
Plodding through it. We're near the end on the last sections. I gave you the red lines.
Oh,
on-
Lynn, wait a minute. Lynn, want to slide in, or you're comfortable there?
Oh, yeah, I'll come over.
I apologize.
Switch gears, I don't even have to replace Miles if he's not here.
You want to mess up there, Michael, or no?
Not yet.
Sit tight.
We're completing the final sections after fiscal to the end at this point. We received some information last week on the groundwater that I'd asked for from B&E, from Doug Elgood. So that's going to be incorporated in it. We've got a few more toward the end to go, so it's close to, that part is close to being ready. I haven't gotten some comments on the part that you got the last meeting after that last. Did get that? Okay, good.
Yeah, I burnt myself out on this.
See if we can do
I'm pretty caught up. Really proud of myself.
Okay. Okay, what I wanted to do, and I postponed because we weren't, from a board perspective, weren't ready, talk about fiscal impact. But I wanted to get together, if we do have that subcommittee, and you two, and if we can get together sometime, you know, I'm looking availabilities wise this week, or Dave, and shoot out some questions, because I'd like to have the discussion on fiscal impact at the next meeting, or if the board's so inclined, we could have a special meeting. It's, but I want to get your feedback now on when and where we can do some of this stuff. So, we'll start. I don't care. How about we'll start with the first one? Is there any, since we're not getting together, the next formal meeting would be the 16th of October. Is there any interest in having something before then, a meeting really just to discuss the fiscal impacts section with the developer and with our consultant?
But I thought the idea was we wanted to have our subcommittee discussion prior to doing that.
Yeah. Well, I'm working backwards, so, yeah.
Okay.
No, if there isn't any, then the subcommittee has a little bit more flexibility in time-wise. But if someone said, let's do it on a certain date, then, so we can go either way. I definitely want to have that subcommittee meeting as soon as you're ready. I'll put it this way, I'm available Tuesday and part of Friday this week. And I am available Thursday and Friday of the following week.
What time Friday this week?
Probably afternoon. Now, my wife's having gallbladder operation on Thursday, so I'm not sure how long she's going to be in or out. So it's kind of a...
Friday I can't do.
Yeah.
So what about Thursday, Friday the following week?
Anytime. I should be available anytime those days.
Any of those days work for you?
Yeah, in evening or early evening or?
Well, I don't want to make him work too many hours on that, but if that's the only time you can make it.
I can't do Thursday or Friday evenings of that week.
Yeah. I know, that's what I mean.
I can do Friday evening this week, but not next week.
Well, if it's convenient for the three of us to get together, then I can catch up with Tim. I can give you my ideas, just...
Maybe Lynn can join us since she submitted several comments as well.
I don't know that I could add more than my comments that you already have.
But we could discuss your questions.
Would there be too many of us present?
Well, I just think 3 makes sense. 3 people. Or just Mike and I could meet either way.
So when do you, Friday, what time Friday? If it's this Friday?
I could be flexible on Friday.
Okay, because I probably won't know until after she goes under the knife exactly what time I'm going to be available on Friday. So why don't we...
Well, I think I'm available Friday. I wasn't
Okay.
expecting to be.
Okay, Dave, you got sometime Friday?
Yeah.
Can we shoot for 2 o'clock and then range it from there? Does that make sense?
Okay.
Dave's office?
2 in the afternoon?
Yeah.
Or in the morning?
2 in the morning.
Well, I was thinking about afternoon. 2 p.m. Oh gosh.
Check with
No,
Elaine.
I can't do that, actually. I have schedules and field work I have to do. I'll be in Accord.
No, that's not really a good place to have it.
I was thinking you were talking about Friday evening.
Is it,
Want to do more evening-ish? Mike, does that work for you?
yeah, I mean, Can we do 5?
I could probably make 5,
I could do 5.
because I can start a little earlier.
All right, set up for 5.
5 p.m. And where is this?
Dave's office?
Dave's office. Okay, I will recheck the calendar just to make sure, but I'm pretty sure I'm okay.
Tom, on Friday at 5, are you anywhere accessible? Maybe we could call you?
Yeah.
When you send, or you and Dave would give him a phone number that he could reach you at?
Sure.
And we can plug you in on the phone?
That'll be fine.
Okay.
Where's your office, Dave?
Curdy's Lane, 1 Curdy's Lane, 2nd floor.
Where's that?
Right on the corner, right as you come off the thruway, you were to take a right, it's the first right there.
Okay.
Curdy's
Before you get to the gas
East of-
station,
Yeah.
that street, that's still dead-end street that goes down there, he's right on the corner there.
Sure.
Yeah, because I'd like to get, okay, so if we meet Friday, what's board's feeling of having another meeting prior to the 16th, mainly to discuss fiscal impacts? I know I'm throwing out dates and things of that sort, but I'm just trying to get
It's fine with me.
Yeah, let's go for it.
I know I have things scheduled on October 5th and October 10th, so I didn't know what day of the week that is. So,
I've got the calendar out. Let's just kind of walk through. If we meet this Friday at 5, why don't you start? Start looking at dates like Thursday and Friday of the first week.
I don't know if it matters if I go, but I'm doing a webinar for planning board training that Thursday.
Oh,
Really
okay.
interesting.
No, I'd say, no, this would be a meeting.
Okay, all right.
So I'd rather,
So
if
I have a
people can.
webinar.
nobody will
Well,
know
it's
yet.
at 7, so I could make more, I don't know.
Well, how about,
Yeah, what evening is that thing at, that was Tuesday, the first week of October?
He's the first.
Yeah, that,
Okay,
No,
I'm
um,
that
signed
could be
up for
Tuesday
that.
the 1st though.
I can't. I'm out Monday and Tuesday of next 2 weeks.
Just tell them.
So our next planning board meeting is October 16th, a Wednesday?
Yeah, because Monday's a Columbus Day and the town halls are closed. Thank you. Yep, there you are. Okay. How about the 9th? Is the 9th, I know I gotta look at Kelly to see if I have a room at the inn, but,
Oh, yeah.
What are we talking about?
talking about the 9th, it's a Wednesday?
Yeah,
Wednesday?
I can,
That's a CWAS meeting,
What time's your meeting?
7.
How long will you be going, all night?
Oh, we're usually done by 8:30,
And you're in here?
usually. But we usually, when there's a conflict, get shoved into some other office, because
Bottom of the pile, I know. I'm just thinking, if we could piggyback on the back of your meeting, if we could push you and say, we'll meet about 8:15, if CWAS could be finished, we could come in here at 8:15. I mean, we only have one thing on the agenda, we'll be meeting with the consultants and these guys on it, but we'd have to post it, and I just want to make sure people are available to get it. We should have the stuff to CDR and back by then, so we could have a good vetting of the document.
we're still in public television.
Yeah, no, we have to, no, if we have a meeting, we gotta announce it, so I need time to announce it.
I don't know that these Wednesdays actually work for me.
Okay.
I'm trying to pull up my schedule here.
Can we figure this out? by email, or is that bad?
Hmm?
Can we figure this out not at a meeting right now?
Okay, this is what I got at. People are comfortable to try to have a meeting.
Yes.
What we need to do is get the dates everybody's available, get it to Kelly soonest, and touch base with Eileen. What dates, because we won't meet till the 16th, and so what we're looking at is availability of dates on between now and then. Well, actually, after Friday. So,
Okay, so we'll email Kelly. Okay.
and then we'll try to,
So, but this is the second week in October, not the first week, right? You talked about October 9th.
that would be the second week in October.
Do you have internet access right now?
Don't you normally have a planning
getting
board
on.
meeting?
We have the second Monday.
The second,
Second
but that's-
Monday is
right,
Columbus.
because of Columbus Day
Yeah.
and starting.
Yeah, town of
Right.
Falls. It says connected, but then if I
So
go,
that's why
Doesn't work.
yeah, it's the second Monday is the 14th, and so we get kind of whacked.
Right.
Does it make any sense
It
to
is
look at a
not.
different time?
right, that's what it did last
CGR,
time too.
assuming
Oh,
would be
that's done.
coming down.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, coming down during the day, late afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, if they meet, we could theoretically meet at 5. I don't know if that makes,
Especially if we have pizza or something.
Kelly, do you have internet?
oh, okay.
Her computer's
But
special.
it says that I'm connected, but it doesn't actually go on.
Yeah, that did happen last time. Yeah.
You
You've
actually
always
can
had internet, right?
open a website?
Your computer has some special thing. I have the password. It's all in there. It's just not working.
We don't have it?
I can't do the meeting on the 16th. October 16th.
All right, how about, I'm going to throw out, one of the suggestions was move it to 5 o'clock or 4:30 or something like that. Does that,
The actual planning board meeting on the 16th?
no,
The other-
another day.
Listen, I can do any time. I just work all the time.
Good,
So I can just leave work.
okay.
Totally open availability. 2 in the morning is actually great for me. I'm always up.
Yeah, I could do 2 in the morning also.
Great. 2 of us.
Lately, I've been up at 2 in the morning, please, I don't know. Been tell everybody I'm sleeping like a baby, I'm up every 2 hours, I'm not good. So not only do you give Kelly dates that are available, but let's look at the afternoon. I think mornings would be out normally. Mornings are fine, you, I don't know.
I can do
Mornings, Tom?
mid-morning.
No, I think it would be tough. Peter? Morning, Lynn?
I could do mornings if I know well enough in advance.
Yeah. Put your times down, and let's when you write down the times and tell Kelly, tell her what part of the day. It could be morning, afternoon, or evening, or all three for that, and see if we can get a commonality. I think there's some advantage to meeting at 4 o'clock here ahead of any evening use of the pit, and being able to have a meeting here. It's just that next Monday and Tuesday, I'm out of town. Tuesday night is the planning seminar up at Ulster. Wednesday is county planning board meeting. And the following week, Monday and Tuesday, I'm out of town also. So, a fluke of everything, just like this past 2 weeks.
You were retired.
Yeah, I am, theoretically. Last 2 weeks, I've been out of town. I do some consulting work, so. I do have these little excursions. It's feast or famine. Either they all come together or or I go a couple of months and nothing happens. So we'll try to get that
Great.
great. I really want to wrap up the FEIS. So if there's any comments to Dave, quickest, because except for, again, for the fiscal impact, because that's on a separate track, of getting the rest of the FAS together, so we can have a final look through it on the meeting in the first meeting in October. Tim, if you can't make that Wednesday, any comments that you have on it, whatever you can produce, I appreciate it. Bear in mind that what we're going to do is try to get it out and posted such that we could have public hearings in November on it. After we finish with the public hearings, we take back the FEIS, make any modifications, corrections, or additions to it that had come out of the public hearing that we might have missed, or answer any questions that did come up in order to finalize it. So the idea is to, what I'm looking for is to get a good enough document out to the public so they can read it through, and then have the public hearings in November, and then take it back in and clean it up and make a finding statement out of that.
I have a question.
Sure.
So, okay, I'm pretty good with the FEIS. It seems like for my sections that I've really been focusing on and where the pages that we've got, it seems like we made a lot of changes. There's, progress. It's going. But I have just one issue that I wonder if we could, I don't know if now would be the time to discuss with the developers, because it seems like I'm just knocking my head. That's not really the way to put it. I don't know. Okay, here's my issue. So, in terms of public transit, we've revised the FEIS and talked about it, and I just feel like the document says many times that it's, what am I trying to say? Accessible via public transit, but with the loop bus not being on the weekends, I just feel like nothing has changed with it, except the FEIS just says that it's very accessible to public transit, but I really don't see how it is. So I'm not sure how I can revise it. Like, I can't just say, make this whole plan, open up the loop bus on the weekends. It doesn't seem like you can change that with a sentence in the DEIS, or FEIS. So I just keep thinking about, if we're trying to discourage car usage, kids who are there living at Park Point in February, walking to Stop and Shop, that is not a short walk, or even walking to campus. It just seems like, where do we go where, maybe you guys can say I don't know, how could we solve this problem?
Weekends is going to be more likely that people will drive too, so if there was public transit during the weekends, some way to resolve that.
I think what you're looking for, in fact, we can't, make things happen that are outside the purview on it, but we can state that, what it will do and what it won't do.
Yeah.
And be explicitly clear on that. And that's,
Yeah.
you evaluated it. You know what the issue is. The loop bus doesn't run on weekends.
Yeah.
But it's a hindrance to all the students.
Yeah, it's true, definitely.
Whether they live on campus, off campus, in the housing, what have you. Anybody who takes loop buses. So.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I'm.
So
We'll discuss it. It's not like, we'll use the transit and everything will be wonderful. We have to say, hey, it doesn't run on weekends.
Yeah.
And,
it's not ideal.
From our perspective on it, it limits the ability of every student or anybody who's using the loop bus system to use it.
Yeah.
Well, what about I know the Transportation Committee run by Gail Gallery asked the applicant to contribute to the loop bus.
That's discussed in the FEIS.
It remains to be seen how much the applicant would want to contribute. Maybe it will be enough to allow for additional service.
We know that they say, I have it copied here. Where did it go? It says that, that's a question in the FEIS, and they say that the taxes they're already paying will cover the costs.
But the Transportation Committee specifically asked that the applicant contribute directly to the bus service, not via taxes.
Yeah, so we can put that as an unanswered question.
Well, no.
Or a question
we can state that in transportation, that the ability of the loop bus system to run on weekends is important to this. And to that extent, it's a cost of services similar to other cost of services that are incurred on it. But I have to think that one all the way through.
Well, I guess it's two things too, because if the applicant has said, we feel like we're already contributing via taxes,
But
then have they said that they're not willing to fulfill the request of the Transportation Committee?
And that's kind of the feeling you get from it, but maybe we, could ask that in more concrete terms.
what I'm getting is part of the fiscal impact, is this a cost that we should be thinking about in the fiscal impact? That it, and again, what that cost would be in proportion to what the usage for people who use it would be. That's the other thing on it.
Yeah.
You can't ask SUNY New Paltz to pay for the loop bus on weekends.
Well,
I
I think
guess
the SUNY students actually are the largest contributor to the loop bus. It comes out of their student association fees.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I'm just taking it to the next step as proportional increase. If this is 3,500 students on campus paying X and this is 700, then they should pay a fifth of it. That's our just
I believe there are 5 different parties that contribute to the loop
Yeah,
bus,
it's
but
a
the
whole-
students are the greatest. They
Are
contribute.
those students living on campus or the total students who pay?
It's
I don't know how they figure out. It's like your fee as a student.
I thought it's part of the activity, the student
Yeah.
activities fee.
Right.
They pay for the bus system.
So these students would already be paying for it.
Well, I don't know, how does that work if is the fee different for a commuter student versus
That's
an
the question.
on-campus student?
I don't know, but if they're paying that money now,
I think you
Even
ride
though
for
they're
free with an ID.
huh?
You student ID and you ride for free.
So they would be paying for it. It's not like they're going to have 700 more students. They're going to have 700, the town's going to have 700 more residents. So perhaps the overall contributions should be increased, because now there'll be more people in town who will be riding. Not that the total number of students is increasing.
Right. So if all the students at SUNY New Paltz pays a student activities fee,
Yeah.
and X dollars comes out of that, whether they live in Saugerties or New Paltz, part of that does pay for the loop bus system. Maybe we'll get together with, we'll just probe that to get that cleaned up.
They claim there won't be any additional students.
Right, the claim is just that it's a shift of commuter students who live in the vicinity to commuter students who will live on Park Point. So if commuter students are paying a different fee versus kids who live in dorms, that revenue has not changed.
All right. That's something we can investigate.
Okay, I have one more question. This is just a direct question to the developers, though. I'll throw it out.
Developers not here.
No, they're here.
I'll throw it out. So I've just seen chatter online about something called a college town. It's like more development on the parcel beyond Park Point. In one place I saw a thing that talked about it stretching all the way to Jansen Road, which I don't really get. So I just wanted to...
I can answer that question.
Okay, great, yeah,
Jack,
thanks.
It's absolutely false.
Oh,
It's
okay,
made up in
good to
Paul
know.
Brown's mind. It's absolutely false.
Okay.
There's no plan to do anything beyond this project. We've stated that from the beginning. Paul is prone to great exaggerations, and that's putting it mild. That is absolutely unequivocally false. And I don't know any other way to say it, because I've been asked about it a whole bunch of times since it was in the paper with absolutely no basis in fact. And if people look into that seminar that he talked about, it's very clear that the seminar had nothing to do with a college town at the Moriello Farm.
Yeah.
It's getting
I just thought I'd throw it out there.
And again, let's back up. One of the things that town in their comprehensive plan is looking for development, and it's pinpointed between Putt Corners and 32,
Yeah.
south of the town. So I mean, this is where they
Yeah.
want to
Develop, yeah.
develop.
I know,
This
I
is-
just figured,
So it may not be that, maybe something else, but every one of them is a review of, before a board, before site plan and anything else on that, whether it's a college or whether it's
In
other
that
housing.
particular case, it would also be before the town board, because it requires a zoning amendment to zone it to RV, which is currently R1.
It's all R1 down
oh,
south of
wow,
it.
interesting, huh, yeah, yeah.
So
Well, thank you.
there's a lot
Good
of,
to know.
lot of things that
Okay,
have to
cool.
fall out. It's not a creeping one. It's not like they got 50 acres and they're developing 40 and you're saying, well, what about the other 10? What's that going to look like? It's a whole new
Yeah.
ballpark.
I thought also the idea was, Michael, wasn't originally this a plan that was potentially a mixed-use development? And then the town said, no, we're okay with a residential property, but not mixed use because we'd rather keep core businesses on closer to Main Street, and that's why the project looks the way it looks now. It is not a mixed-use project.
Some
It's a
town board
residential.
members- Some town board members expressed that view, some didn't. There wasn't any kind of unity on it, but it was always, the plan was always confined to this footprint. That was, there's never been a plan to go beyond.
Right, but isn't like Wilmerite's model, like when they've built this at Syracuse or Rochester, to do some more of a mixed-use approach?
This project.
And that's what maybe they were initially anticipating for this property, but this has now changed. It is definitely not a mixed-use.
Yeah, I can't speak to.
Let's back up.
I mean, I think that, to me, that feels like why there is confusion about this idea of college town, because the PowerPoint presentation that Paul is referring to is also from 2009.
And it was mostly their RIT development.
Right, it's saying like,
Different development than this.
absolutely, it's saying this is a mixed-use project, and we want to do something like this in New Paltz.
Yeah, that-
And then as the plan developed, it was no longer a mixed-use project, it's just a residential.
There wasn't enough room for mixed use. There was a fair amount, my recollection, a fair amount of worry that mixed use would compete, and they didn't want to do that. So they said, this project, when it was first proposed, was always planned to be primarily residential. If there was any mixed use at all, there was always the talk about, as Peter had mentioned, some kind of a convenience store or something like that on the site. But there was never enough room to do that kind of a project, and they never looked at it from that perspective, to my knowledge.
Well, going back to...
The town board, there were some town board members who said, if you're going to do a PUD, we'd like to see, and that was originally planned as a PUD development, we'd like to see some mixed use if you can make it work, but we couldn't make it work, and that's why we ended up just going with the straight RB zoning district designation and no PUD.
PUD would ask, plan unit development would ask for mixed use of commercial.
Yeah, required.
And it requires it, and this 7 ways to Sunday, actually, in the beginning, that's what they came back with after they did their analysis on the DIS, that let's go with the RV, it doesn't make any sense for any retail in that sense there, and so that's what
But
we came out to.
I was at that seminar, and that column that Paul wrote is mischaracterization.
You mean you were at the 2009? Yeah.
Okay. And it's
He
a
didn't quote,
mischaracterization
he
of,
didn't quote you.
Well, I'm glad we could clear it up.
Okay, no, that's, if we got questions, that's the kind of things or issues or things that are still outstanding that we're not comfortable with or have questions on it, that's what we won't
absolutely.
get.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
ask me about it, I got asked about it last night.
But, all right, so the goal is finish up the FEIS, take a look-see at it, on October 16th, to give it a blessing to go public with it, and then to schedule public hearings in November. It'll give people opportunities to read the document and then come into the public hearing on it. We just want to make sure we get it, so if everybody's happy the 16th, it's good. If we have some questions and we need some tweaking on it, it goes out a little bit later than that, but I really want to get the emphasis to put it out to the public then, and that will give us enough time to announce it, have a public hearing on it, and get feedback from the public. I mean, there's too many other, clearly this document is different than what they've seen already, so it's important for us to get it out there and to take whatever input we get. I think what I'm trying to do is make sure that the fiscal write-up stays on track to fit into that, but I want to make sure that we can meet on that, but if we can't, we may arrange another little conference call with TRD before, if we can't get a date, and we're going to discuss it on the 16th, maybe the subcommittee can meet with CRD and have them answer any questions that we still have outstanding. So I'll give you an opportunity, Tim, before the meeting of getting some input into it, if that's how it comes out. Does that seem reasonable? Okay. That's where we're going. That's a shot. I think getting the data in, it's been a big major rewrite, but I think the timing on it is now that we should be able to wrap it up at our next meeting, turns out to be the 16th, and then get it posted and move to have a public hearing at our November meeting.
Mike, and by that time, the CGR report will be redrafted. I mean, it's in draft form now, so we have...
CGR is part of the FEIS. It will be incorporated into it. What we're trying to do is, there are two tracks. Dave's got the FEIS. We're trying to get the other track moving so we can piecemeal in that fiscal impact on it. So I think we'll pop a couple of questions to them and then turn around, and if I can get a meeting, you guys and the consultant are going to be invited. It'll be a regular public hearing. If not, we'll do the discussion on the 16th with everybody and go over the fiscal impact that we have, what the document is, and take it from there. Again, their report is a peer review, and so different text. Think it's a good plan going forward?
Looks like we're moving right along.
Yeah, that's it.
Kind of.
It will be. I think, again, what we're going to produce out of here, reading through it, is that there's been a lot of changes from the document that we did get from Wilmerite, with the questions answered and data in there. And I'm sure everybody will come to the public hearing saying, wonderful job, Town Planning Board. I'm behind you 100%.
Looking forward to that.
But, again, I want you guys to be comfortable with what's in there. And then to be able to listen, open mind to what other issues are brought up, that we can move this thing forward and see if we can address that. But things like, when you mention like loop bus or if they come up, you got questions, it's not really clear where we've answered it or something like that, let's have that discussion. Let's talk it back and forth and come up with how do we want to handle it. Because that's what we'll be doing after the public hearing, is everything that they come up with. How do you want to, is it answered? Are you comfortable with the way it's answered there? Do we put another sentence in there to respond, or it wasn't clear enough? That type of thing. That's what will probably come out of that. October 1st is the planning seminar up at Ulster Community College on the new secret documents that go into effect. October 16th meeting, and I know You're all on the edge of your seats, can't wait for that new documents to come out. First new time in 25 years, I guess. So, has anybody, I've signed up for the course, has anybody else?
I tried, couldn't get in.
Couldn't get in?
So I told him he could have my spot.
Okay.
I'll use your.
You just can't practice law.
He can't practice.
I can't, just,
Well, you could, but I'm not responsible if you get in trouble.
All those things you always wanted to do, there's your night.
My opinion is,
All right, so I'll be going up on October 1st, when I get back from Binghamton.
Can I catch a ride with you?
Yeah, you want to meet, that's what I was asking, you want to meet at Town Hall
I
here?
don't-
Or you want me to
Sure,
pick you
that
up?
would be great. You wouldn't normally go past my house, so,
No, I'd have to cross the river.
yeah.
Oh my God, I'm only teasing. Whatever's more convenient, Lynn, I can ride up there.
I would love it if you drive, because I'm getting paranoid about driving at night. It seems that deer like to leap out in front of my car.
Oh, luckily it's not very dark going up to Ulster Community College, is it?
This week, I'll see that.
But yeah,
6:30 at
I could
Toast.
meet you here.
Okay. You want to meet around 6?
Six?
It's 6:30 it starts.
Yeah, that would be
And
good.
you want to get the comfortable seats.
Sure, I'll meet you here.
There is a fire
Okay.
they feel that she just
Anything else,
make all the problem.
board wish to discuss?
But I asked them for it.
Anything from you guys? Okay.
Like
So-
to have that special meeting with you.
Well, if I do form a meeting, you would definitely know about it.
Yeah, no,
So first we'll have to publicize it, but if we get an agreement on a date for a meeting, we'll email you and let you know when the date is, so even before we publicize it, and time to work that out. And it's urgent cheap, it's just trying to find the dates. I mean, quote unquote, I'm retired, so I don't work during the day, but I'm not always around.
The one time Tom couldn't come, we're out of here at 8.
Well, notify me, I think that's probably the reason why we're out of here. But I just tell them that, but
if you got an iPhone, you can,
But I think, pass on to Tom, and we have a timetable going forward for this. We expect to wrap up and close out the FEIS and schedule a public hearing at our next meeting. If we have a special meeting before then, we'll have a special meeting, but it would be at the October 16th meeting, we'd close it out. And go for the public hearing on that. But I definitely want to have a meeting with you guys and go over what we have in our fiscal report and make sure that we're comfortable with what's in there, because I'm sure that's going to take the bulk of the attention at the public hearing. Just a stab in the dark, so.
I think it's going to be that and arsenic. If we
Okay.
take bets on things.
Okay, well, okay, we're going to, you're going to be the counter then. Okay, how many did you get and how many did I get? Anything else before the board? Motion to adjourn. Thank you. And I'll second that one. Thank you all. Just remember, board members, get times and dates as quickly as you can to Kelly. We're shooting for Friday at, what was it, Friday at 5? Thanks. Short-term memory now.
And that's
getting up to our
just a few days from now.
Yeah, already. I just hope she's home and intact. It's Friday at 5.